So yesterday was the Super Bowl because today is Monday, February 10th, 2025. As I am recording this, it is 8:38 a.m. Pacific time here on the West Coast in California. But yesterday was the Super Bowl, and for the first time in 2 years, the Chiefs did not win. Now, here's the thing about that. Some people are joking and they're putting out memes and all that saying, see, it's not so fun when you don't have the refs making calls, controversial calls in your favor, or, helping you do this, helping you do that. You're starting to see that, emerge a lot now. And it's not the first time. When New England's streak basically ended, if you will, their dominance, their dynasty ended for the time being, people were doing the same thing. They were putting out a lot of memes, if you will. And this is at a time when the internet was full on in, basically mid 2000s to early 2010s, 2020s, if you will, mid 2010s. They were throwing all that out there saying, see, not so fun when you don't have the refs in your pocket, or when Brady didn't win, his final playoff game and all that, and everything. People are like, see, Tom, not so fun when nobody's favoring you, right? And you started to see that yesterday. Like I said, you started seeing those images and stuff emerge, when Kansas City lost. But also, I think it's a fact of, people look at how Patrick Mahomes came in to the building, was entering the building. They were seeing him walking, all confident and everything. And people are like, well, that pretty much, when you look back at his, his stride, the way he was strutting down the street a little bit, all focused and businesslike and all cocky, that cost them. And technically it did. But also I think what cost them is something that JD from NY206 was bringing up a lot when it came to CM Punk not winning the Royal Rumble. You see, he noted that CM Punk week after week after week after week after week was saying he's going to win the Royal Rumble. He's going to toss this person. He's going to toss that person. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And he's going to win to go to WrestleMania. And what happens? He ends up not winning. He ends up being eliminated by, of all people, Logan Paul, which really got under a lot of people's skin. Like, really? Of all people, he doesn't? They went through with that. But still, he kept saying it with such confidence and a little bit of arrogance that he was going to win, and he didn't. And the way this relates to the Chiefs is you kept hearing the media, the sports media, ESPN, Fox Sports, YouTube, any podcast out there, a sports-centric podcast, if you will. Every single one of them, even the hometown of Kansas City, like the Kansas City radio stations and the Kansas City news outlets and all of them, the Midwest, Kansas, Missouri, and everything. Everybody was, even those here in California and everything, mostly across the country, whether they wanted to cheer for the Chiefs or not, and a majority of them didn't. Basically, it was like all you kept hearing was people saying, well, they're going to three-peat. They're going to three-peat. They're good. There's no way they're going to lose this. They're going to three-peat. And you even heard the Chiefs themselves, even though they didn't flat out say it at times, they would basically indicate that they're going to three-peat. They're going to make history. They're going to three-peat. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And what happens when you keep saying it's going to happen? What happens when you say you're going to do it, or at least allude to the fact you're going to do it? What happens? You don't do it. You lose. And I think that's what happened. They kept hearing all this buzz, all this hype. Whether it was from people and outlets that wanted to boo them or cheer them, or were in the middle. You kept hearing everybody basically play up the fact that, they're going to three-peat. They're going to three-peat. And they didn't. Also, I think it's the fact that Philadelphia has proven to be one of the better teams this year. Even over, me and my family, San Francisco 49ers. But they proved to be one of the better teams this year. And one of the ways they proved it, and I've noticed this in some of the games, mostly with the playoffs at times, is they study what the other team is going to do. They kind of study, what, a particular formation offensively and defensively the team's going to do. Now, does that always lead to success? No, it doesn't. But you could tell here in the Super Bowl that they knew exactly what the formation and what play Patrick and the Chiefs were going to do offensively and defensively. Now, some might say, conspiracy-wise, that, oh, well, that means Philadelphia must have had a copy of the playbooks, or they must have paid off somebody to go, make them a copy or snap them a picture and da-da-da. And you can have those kind of conspiracies all you want. You can have those kind of conspiracies all you want. But when I look at it from a non-conspiracy standpoint, to me, Philadelphia just wanted it more. And there was someone that I'm friends with on Facebook from Oskaloosa, Kansas. She even said, in a Facebook post that they wanted it more. Everybody was saying they wanted it more. And they proved it. They proved it because you could tell that they studied inside and out. They studied the formations. It's like every time the Chiefs tried to run the ball or pass the ball in a certain formation, majority of the time Philadelphia was on it. They were on it. It's like they knew they were going to go this route with a pass, or they were going to go this route with a run. They were on it. They're like, oh, we see what they're doing. Boom. And they were able to counter it. And yes, that does also amount that they wanted it more, but they were also playing not just to avenge what happened 2 years prior, but they're also playing for the city and the tragedy that happened there. They wanted to play for the city, to bring some brightness, some positivity, some light back to that city, some love back to that city, and they did. They did just that. And yes, on top of that, as I mentioned, they wanted it more, obviously, but also I believe they studied. When a team studies, what you're going to do, and they change up, and you can tell if you're a Philadelphia fan, you can tell that Philadelphia changed up what they, their playbook and everything. They changed up what they do. I mean, sure, they still did some of the same stuff and everything, but you could tell there was a bit of a change. And it wasn't just but the re-addition of players that were out injured and everything, but also the fact that they knew if they didn't change up, they wouldn't probably, stand a chance against Kansas City. And they did what they had to do. They changed up. Now, should have Kansas City have changed up? Absolutely. Yeah, they showed some improvement in the second half, but it was way too late. It was way too late. And the reason it was way too late is because of the fact that I think at halftime, it dawned on them, and it probably dawned on them on the flight home last night and, or this morning, it's dawned on them that the reason they lost was because of the fact that, one, they probably let all the hype and all the belief of they're going to three-peat get to them to the point that they got a little cocky and everything. They got a little confident, over-cocky and all that. But also the fact that I think what's dawning on them is they didn't change the format. When you're going up against a team that is noted by everyone as having probably the best defense in the league, then you have to realize that, okay, if we're going to counter that probably the best defense in the league, we need to change up what we do offensively. And they didn't. They kept going to the same bag of tricks. And in the end, it cost them. The overconfident, the overcockiness, the overconfidence, the, believing in the hype and everything that was being overhyped to unbelievable levels. It basically all came back to burn them. And not just that, but the fact that everybody was saying they're going to three-peat, even themselves saying they're going to three-peat, or at least alluding to it, and it came back to bite them because, again, as I said earlier, when you say you're going to do it, or you allude you're going to do it, it doesn't happen. And that's what occurred. It did not happen. But that wasn't the only thing. That wasn't the only thing that came out of the Super Bowl last night. We also had the halftime show. And a lot of people are mixed about this. Because they're thinking Kendrick Lamar either did publicly in front of the world with President Trump there a protest, in his concert. Basically turned his concert into a protest against Trump, while others are saying, if not more, just a bit more, are saying, no, it's the exact opposite. And it's all up to interpretation. You could say he was using his concert to send a message to Trump of, hey, this is what we think about you and we don't want you here. Or you could think, like many are, and like I said, just a bit more, because I've noticed that in the comment sections across social media, that basically Lamar was actually, in his own way, thanking Trump for now being in charge. I mean, he had Samuel Jackson, I think that's who it was, as Uncle Sam. So basically, it's like, you can interpret it either way, but just a bit more. I think, in a way, if you were to percentage it, I would say 55% to 50%. 55% of those people believe it was in support of Trump and what he's doing, while the other 50% believe it's the opposite. So it's kind of like 55-50, if you will. In that, I guess you could say interpretation or how you view it. But yeah, basically you could look at it either way. You could look at it as, the 50% looking at it as, oh, he was, he was using his concert to protest against Trump, while the 55%, the 55 over the 50, the 55% was saying, no, he's supporting Trump. Believe what you want to believe. You got the power of opinion, freedom of speech, and that's all that matters. But still, the Lamar concert, I thought it was all right. It wasn't bad. I mean, he had two people that he's worked with, collaborates, I should say, on two of his songs. He had SZA, what's her name? SZA, I can't pronounce the name. And then this other guy, helping him out. And I thought that was cool, along with Samuel Jackson portraying Uncle Sam. I thought that was cool and everything. And some say that during part of his concert, he was strutting across the street, strutting, I should say, across the stage, or one of the stages, like he was in a way to where he was taking a shot at Drake, if you will, for what he had been accused of or something. Again, believe what you want to believe, interpret it the way you want to interpret it. You get that freedom and all that. But the point is, it was okay. It wasn't the best, and everything. People are mixed about it. Some feel, believe it or not, probably more so than anything, some feel that it wasn't the kind of performance that was, suitable for a Super Bowl. Like, it's more suitable for a regular arena, venue, club, if you will, than something like the Super Bowl, And again, that's their freedom to think that way. That's their freedom to, look at it that way. Some liked it. The crowd got into it towards the end. But again, it all depends on how you interpretate. Excuse me. It's all depending on how you interpretate the entire scenario. Some liked it, some didn't. Some felt it was one of the better shows they've done in a while. Some felt it was not so good. Some felt that it was, suitable for the halftime show. Some felt like it shouldn't have taken place there. Again, interpret it the way you want. But it was a decent show. It was okay. I'll give them that. We'll see who they get next year. They're going to be here in the Bay Area, in my backyard of, the Northern California at Levi Stadium. We'll see who they get next year. Now, speaking of reaction and everything, oh boy. If you were somebody that went online, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter, Truth Social, Tumblr, Twitch, YouTube, you name it. If you're somebody that went online, what was it? What's one of the other ones? Storybook, or what is it? Storyful website, if you will, Instagram. If you're somebody that went online and you were talking about, you're talking about, the president attending the Super Bowl and being the first sitting president, as far as we know, to attend such an event. You hear people, come out and you're having them hashtag boo Trump, right? And it's, believe it or not, it's kind of taken off like I wouldn't say like wildfire, but it's getting enough traction to where you're thinking, oh, as soon as they show Trump, which you knew they were going to do, he's going to get booed. Well, the exact opposite happened. Because what happened is when they were doing the national anthem. They were doing the national anthem. What happened is basically a majority of the people in New Orleans cheered Trump. Yeah, a majority of the people there, Chiefs and Eagles fans, and just fans in general, they cheered him. They gave him a massive pop and ovation. I mean, yeah, you had some boos in there, but it was mostly outdrowned, by the massive pop and ovation he got. And I guarantee you, a lot of people that probably attended the Super Bowl last night in the Superdome that were, basically trying to get this boo Trump, hashtag boo Trump trending, I guarantee you a lot of them are kicking themselves in the butts going like, that's not how it was supposed to go. It was supposed to go the opposite way. Well, they did kind of get what they wanted, but it wasn't for Trump. Instead, they got, another person get booed. Yeah, they got the booing that they wanted, but not for Trump, because the booing instead went from Trump to Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift's reaction was like, what's going on? Why are they booing me? That was her reaction. It's like she was confused. She didn't understand why everybody was booing her. She didn't. But hopefully now somebody will talk to her, her family, her agents, whoever. They'll talk to her and they'll say, or maybe even, Travis Kelce, her boyfriend, if you will, fiance, will talk to her and say, well, this is why they booed you, and explain that, maybe it's because fans thought with her and him dating, the reason the Chiefs would always get favored is because of her, and people didn't like that. That's why they were booing her, because they feel like she contributed to the problem. Or they could say that, or he could say, and others could tell her, it's because you supported Kamala Harris, and everything. Or they could also say, or it's because they believe you believe in, the ruler of the underworld, if you know what I mean. He could explain that to them, or somebody could explain it to her, to where hopefully she'll come out and maybe in an Instagram or Twitter or something, come out and maybe make a statement. If she truly cares about her fans and the people that support her, she'll come out and say something like, look, I understand, I wasn't sure, why I was booed at first, but once I kind of got an understanding of it, I get it now, so I do apologize if I created any influence on, Kansas City winning. I didn't mean for that to happen. And maybe she'll say something like, I give you my word, I won't attend any more games because I don't want my influence to be the reason. Or something like that. Maybe she'll come out and make an Instagram post or something like that, doing something to that extent, but we'll see. But again, people wanted somebody to be booed, and those that wanted Trump to be booed, the exact opposite happened, but the booing they wanted went to Taylor. And again, her facial reaction was just like, what the hey? It's like she couldn't believe it. And you know what? Maybe, again, her agents and maybe herself, they need to tell people, look, don't put the camera on me anymore, okay? Because people are going to start thinking I'm the reason Kansas City's winning. So hopefully again, for her sake, somebody's talked to her, kind of explain the situation, and maybe she'll come out and, say something. Maybe she'll do an apology note on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, for her accidentally being like an influencer or something like that, or, causing people to think that. Maybe she'll make a promise that she won't attend as many Chief games anymore, if ever, because of that, that belief, and everything. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, she was like surprised. She was shocked. She was like, what the heck? I mean, I think she believed she was going to get cheered. I really do. I think a lot of people feel the same way. Like, she probably believed she was going to get cheered, Trump was going to get booed, and the exact opposite happened. And and maybe, this might wake people up and make them realize, look, you may not like Trump personally as a person, But as a leader, as someone that knows business and understands money and finances, maybe you'll give him a chance as leader to get this country straight, and you can just leave your personal feelings about the guy aside. Because if a majority of that sold-out crowd in the Superdome last night at the Super Bowl wasn't any indication as to, yeah, this is the right guy for the job, I don't know what is. If them cheering him instead of doing the hashtag boo Trump thing that people wanted isn't any indication, I don't know what is. But yeah, it was a very interesting Super Bowl, and congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. A majority of my family wanted them to win because it's like, yeah, Kansas City's good, but you've had your turn. Philadelphia needs a shot now. And it's the first one in like several years. So congratulations to the Eagles. And you know what's ironic too? I just want to bring this up. I know it was given away, but long ago, around 1994, 95, I just moved back to Kansas. I was flown back out to Kansas to live with my dad because of personal family reasons. And I didn't have many clothes with me at that time. And somebody dropped off a box of clothes outside our back door. I was like, what is this? And I found out that it was somebody from, I think, school, somebody whose father was a preacher, pastor, if you will. I don't know. It was somebody, I guess. But somebody dropped off some clothes for me. They were all my size. And one of them was a Philadelphia Eagles hoodie. Yeah, it was a Philadelphia Eagles hoodie. So, yeah, I had that. And again, I think I got lost. I got, given away or something. I can't remember. But, I had that for a while. And it was really nice to wear. It was really nice to wear and everything, especially during those cold winter days, like it probably is over there right now. But I guess you could say in a way, by wearing that, I became a bit of an Eagles fan. Not much. I was mostly San Francisco all the way, and then being out there, I was kind of Kansas City and St. Louis when the Rams were out there. So, and being out. But I still had my heart in my sleeve here in the California with San Francisco and Oakland. So before they became Las Vegas. But anyway, yeah. I just wanted to share that little bit of a history right there. A little bit of unknownness when it comes to me. When it relates to the Super Bowl here. But anyway, like I said, it was a good Super Bowl. Congratulations to Philadelphia. And we'll see what happens next year. Again, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara here in Northern California is going to be hosting it. The 60th Super Bowl, that is. I think they hosted the 50th one, didn't they? I think they hosted the 50th one, right? Okay. No, I was just double checking. Yeah, Super Bowl 50 was in Levi. So now we're getting 60. And it looks like to me they might be planning to use Levi Stadium for the foreseeable future to be the home of the Super Bowl every 10 years. That'd be pretty cool if they do that. But again, we'll see what happens next year when it comes to Levi. I know a lot of us 49er fans are hoping that San Francisco does what Los Angeles did. What was it? 3 years ago, I think? 3 years ago? I believe. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. I was trying to think. It was during the pandemic and everything. Hoping that they do what Los Angeles did 3 years ago, and that's, get to the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, and play it at home. So we'll see what happens. But let me know what your thoughts were on the Super Bowl last night, guys. What did you think of the halftime show? Do you agree with people saying that Lamar was doing it as doing a bit of a protest doing it against Trump, or do you think he was doing it as a thank you to Trump? Where do you fall into that category? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on basically the hashtag boo Trump at the Super Bowl backfiring, instead turning into a cheering, an ovation, a pop for Trump, and instead of him being booed, Taylor Swift got the booing instead? What were your thoughts on that? And her confused face, like what's going on? How did you feel overall about it? Let me know down in the comments. What did you think of the game overall? Who were you for in the end? And really, that's all I can say, guys. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Like the video. Ring the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the links in the description to find my content elsewhere, like at all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Amazon, Amazon Audible, that is, Spotify, Spotify, Pandora, Overcast. Wherever there's a podcast available, you'll probably find mine there as well. Also, check me out at rumble.com at BWRoses. Check me out at odyssey.com at BWRoses. Patreon.com at BWRoses. Also, check me out at VENMO at BWRoses as well. Also, check out the Venmo and the Cash App to help support the channel there. Also, check me out at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, find me at divanart.com at BVW1979 and at inkbunny.net at BWRoses. And also find me on Twitter /X at BWRoses and at Blue Sky at BWRoses. But guys, give me your thoughts overall. Again, what are your thoughts on the Lamar concert? What did you think about it? Did you think he was using it as a protest against Trump or support for Trump? What are your thoughts on the boo Trump turning into cheering and popping ovation for Trump? And the thoughts on Taylor Swift being booed instead? Let me know, and as well as the game overall, and who were you for? And until then, next time, guys, talk to you later.